On a cold November night in Nukuzaksatsu, as the quiet roads of Point Pleasant, West Virginia stretched into the darkness, a sewing machine salesman named Woodrow Derenberger drove home along Interstate 77. It was nearly midnight, the kind of hour where the world feels thinner, quieter, and somehow more fragile. As he crested a small hill, he noticed headlights in his rearview mirror. A vehicle was approaching fast, too fast for the narrow, empty road. But as it pulled alongside him, what Woody saw was unlike any car he had ever known. A sleek, metallic craft without wheels, silently gliding above the asphalt. His radio crackled with static, his engine stuttered, and then impossibly, the craft drifted ahead of him and blocked the road. When Woody stopped, a figure approached his truck, tall, thin, and dressed in a shiny suit that reflected no light, and he was smiling, an unnaturally wide, frozen smile. The figure did not speak aloud. Instead, Woody heard a voice in his mind, smooth, calm, almost polite. "I am called Cold," the voice said, "Indrid Cold." The being's smile never changed, never blinked, never softened. Woody later described it as friendly and terrifying all at once, like seeing someone imitate human emotion without understanding it. Cold asked him simple questions about the town, about people, about why humans worry so much. Then, in a deep stillness that Woody could never explain, Cold told him they would meet again. The craft lifted, tilted without sound, and vanished into the night sky. Woody sat there shaking, his hands white on the steering wheel. He would tell the police, the press, and later thousands of Americans that what he saw was real. And though many doubted him, others came forward with their own stories. Stories of a tall, smiling man seen near the riverbanks, at gas stations, outside windows, always watching. As Woody's story spread, something strange happened. People across West Virginia, Ohio, and Kentucky began reporting sightings of a man who didn't seem entirely human. Tall, clean-shaven, dressed oddly, and smiling too widely. Some claimed he approached them on dark roads or near forests. Others said he simply stood in the distance, illuminated by moonlight, head tilted slightly to the side. Despite the eerie encounters, he never harmed anyone. Witnesses said he seemed curious, almost fascinated by human emotions. But the most unsettling detail was always the same. When he smiled, his eyes didn't. They remained cold, reflective, like glass marbles observing rather than feeling. Those who encountered him described a deep sense of being studied, not with malice, but with a kind of clinical detachment. It was as if he was learning how to be human by watching, imitating, and smiling. Researchers later connected Indrid Cold's visits to the Mothman sightings, which exploded in Point Pleasant at the same time. Both entities appeared weeks before the tragic Silver Bridge collapse in December 1967, which claimed 46 lives. Some theorists believe Cold was not a threat, but a warning, an interdimensional traveler who sensed catastrophe before humans could. Others argued he was drawn to strong emotional energy, fear, grief, confusion, using it as a beacon. Woody himself claimed continued contact with Cold for years afterward, saying the being visited him at home, spoke to him telepathically, and even introduced him to beings from a place called Lanulos. Most dismissed these claims as delusions, but Woody remained adamant until his death. Indrid Cold was real, and he was watching humanity for reasons beyond our understanding. As decades passed, the Smiling Man legend evolved. New witnesses described encounters far from West Virginia, lonely highways in Arizona, forest trails in Oregon, foggy industrial areas in New Jersey. The entity always appeared the same: pale skin, dark suit, enormous grin. But modern reports included new behavior. Some said the Smiling Man did not walk. He glided, feet not fully touching the ground. Others claimed he would mimic their movements, tilting his head when they did, smiling wider when they stepped back. A few described him making soft clicking sounds, the smile never breaking. And some insisted they saw his face change subtly, as if the skin itself were adjusting, recalibrating, reshaping to resemble whatever human expression he thought was appropriate. In 2012, a jogger in Colorado claimed she encountered a man standing beneath a street lamp at 3 a.m., smiling directly at her. He didn't blink. He didn't move. When she crossed to the other side of the road, he mirrored her steps with unnerving precision. Silent, controlled, playful. When she ran, he ran. When she slowed, he slowed. But the worst part was that his smile never changed. She said it felt like his face was a mask, stretched too tightly, and the mouth wasn't meant to open that far. She managed to escape by sprinting into a 24-hour gas station, where the attendants found her pale, trembling, and unable to explain what chased her. Security footage showed nothing. But outside the store, the glass door had a single oily handprint, elongated fingers, no palm. What makes the smiling man phenomenon so disturbing is how calm he appears, how patient. Unlike traditional ghost stories or violent cryptid encounters, Indrid Cold does not chase, attack, or threaten. He simply watches, smiles, and approaches with unsettling calmness. Behavioral psychologists say this combination, human-like but not quite human, is the source of our deepest primal fear, the uncanny valley, where something looks familiar enough to resemble us, yet different enough to signal danger. But paranormal researchers argue something more chilling, that these beings are intentionally mimicking us, learning from us, testing how close they can get without causing panic. They suggest the smiling man's grin is not a sign of friendliness, but a misunderstanding of human warmth, a mask worn by something observing from the outside. Some modern UFO theorists have suggested that Indrid Cold may be a type of contact entity, similar to those described by abductees who report emotionless figures with exaggerated expressions. Others believe he is interdimensional, slipping through thin places in reality where consciousness overlaps. A small number of researchers propose a more frightening possibility. The smiling man is attracted to individuals on the verge of intense emotional change, loss, grief, fear, major life transitions. Witnesses often encounter him during vulnerable moments. Driving home after arguments, walking alone after funerals, working night shifts, or staying awake with insomnia. It's as if he senses emotional turbulence and appears to observe how humans cope with it. Today, Indrid Cold remains one of America's most enigmatic paranormal figures. Sightings continue, rare but consistent. Stories shared on forums, police logs mentioning odd individuals, doorbell cameras capturing elongated shadows on porches, and always the same detail, the smile. Too wide, too still, too practiced. Those who claim to have seen him report a lingering feeling afterward, like being watched days or weeks later, as if that smile has imprinted on their memory. Some even say they have dreams of Cold standing beside their bed, silently observing, his face inches from theirs, mouth curved into that same unnatural grin. Whether these dreams are trauma, imagination, or something more is still unknown. But one pattern remains constant through every decade of reports. People don't see the smiling man when they are surrounded by others. They don't see him during the day or when they feel confident or joyful. He appears when the world is quiet, when your breath is loud in your own ears, when the night feels heavy, when you are emotionally fragile and alone. And those who meet him never forget the moment he tilts his head slightly, studies them with unblinking eyes, and widens that impossible smile, as if learning, adapting, waiting for something only he understands.